Hey everybody, welcome back to Sergeant Stock TV. I'm Big Mike,
Normal size Jason.
normal size Jason. Hey, yeah, we were talking about chickens and animals and stuff like that before y'all joined us. Was over there at Tim's giving away coffee and stuff like that, and I didn't do the volume.
No, he didn't. Look at that, folks.
Sergeant Major didn't. She didn't say, "Hey, did you turn down your volume?"
He's getting all fancy in his retired age, guys. He's like, I can set this up. Watch this.
And I keep telling Terry, I married her so I didn't have to make any more decisions in my life. You know, I married her so she could tell me what to do and when to do it because, a happy wife is a happy life.
Right?
Yeah.
And she did. She did exactly that. She said,
Hey,
you
there's
go
a stop
there
sign coming.
and do your live and have fun. I'm going to sit over here in the lazy boy and enjoy myself. Have fun.
I mean, she tells me when the light's red or when the light's green.
Miles ahead. Like they have that ESP and stuff.
It's ESPN. No, that's what I got. ESPN. Yeah. But hey, guys, we welcome back to the channel. Hey, big day yesterday.
Oh, huge
day yesterday. I have never seen a presidential ceremony and stuff like that done indoors. Well, I think in '85, Ronald Reagan had one inside. And it ran good. But you know what I saw? I saw that they really rushed swearing him in.
Oh yeah,
because
they had all this time.
Melania didn't even have time to come up there with their Bible. He didn't have his hand on the Bible at all. She came up there, and they were just rushing it. It's crazy.
Yeah, we had caught that too. We were sitting here watching it and was like, they had all this time. JD Vance was able to get his whole family. I mean, he had a herd of folks up there, and they were like, hey, adjusting ties. And then, Trump's time come up, and they're like, all right. And it was like, whoa, hold on. Maybe get everybody, like, he's just the president. Do what you want, I guess.
Yeah. Justice Roberts, he just started talking, Yeah. And I think it seemed like he missed a couple of sentences in the oath of office. If you go back and watch that, listen to JD Vance, okay, when he got sworn in. Then listen to the one with Trump. It's the same thing, but the office is different. And it's basically almost on the same lines of when you and I enlisted. They have it, the government's a government, but they just change a few words in there for the office that you're holding. I'm going to tell you something. If you go back and you thumb through, and it's on YouTube and stuff. I mean, on YouTube, people have been posting all kinds of crap, like, but yeah, they missed a whole bunch in Trump's thing, So just go back there and check that, and you'll see the big differences in the two swearing ins. But yeah, guys, so it was a busy day, and we're going to talk about that tonight. We did post the link up at the top for you to join us on panel. Tell us your 2 cents, your thoughts on what you've seen, what you liked, what you didn't like. And I know there's going to be people that, I didn't vote for them. I don't want to talk about them, or, and this is not the place. We don't want this to be the place where, he's a scumbag and blah, blah, blah. Just what do you think about the ceremony? Is it better outside? Because it was colder than crap outside. And I know there's a lot of people glad it wasn't outside.
They even said so themselves, when they went and did the seeing away ceremony, and they were standing out there waiting for the helicopter, and they're like, we're glad this was inside.
Oh, yeah. It was cold in D.C. And I've been to D.C. in January. I took some government courses. They sent me to Washington, D.C. for all my training and stuff over the 20 years that I served as a civilian. And I've been there in January, and it gets cold in D.C. Yeah. That's a concrete city.
Yeah,
well,
and that's the thing.
Yeah, if you're in the district, it's cold. But you go outside the district, it's basically residential and built up and stuff like that. But hey, glad you guys are here. Like I said, let's say hello to some people, and we can get started with this. And when you come up, if you go into the green room, I don't want to see an avatar. I want to see you in the green room yourself, so we know it's an actual person. Because people have been burnt before, and it's some troll or something like that or whatever.
Yeah.
So we want to see you actually sitting there picking your nose or doing whatever you're doing in the green room. It's only Jason and I. We won't tell nobody. Right, Jason?
Nope, we won't.
Hey, so there's Shane Raza. Welcome in.
Let's see. Frozen Friends of Shiloh Acres made it in.
Yep. And there's Brian at the Vineyard Farmhouse saying hello to everyone.
And there's Jennifer Ocean Homestead reminding everybody to go ahead and hit that like button for us and just double check. Sometimes YouTube's unsubscribed you.
She says, I posted a short today. I think Mike and Terry may find it quite interesting. Okay, Jennifer, we'll check that out.
Linda Peterson made it in.
There she is. Debbie Drock's here.
There's Miss Judy Herman.
Yeah. Anna Moore saying, hello, everyone. Wanted to stop and say hello, but I can't keep my eyes open. Understand?
I wouldn't want to look at us either, so I don't blame her.
There's my favorite female Marine. Dawn over at our flipping farmsteads here.
Sister Dawn.
We only got one blue wrench here.
Well, Dawn's in. Who?
Terry should be in there too. Hang on.
Yeah, Terry's in.
Jennifer, if you promise to come back, come on. There. Standard. There we go. Got another one.
All right. And then let's see.
What did Linda Peterson say? Oh, she's just
saying hello to everybody.
Yeah. There's my Sergeant Major. Terry's in here.
I see Miss Debbie Drock made it in.
Yes, she did.
I was scrolled down earlier and then I went in. Oh, there's a Tasha Lynn.
Hello, Tasha.
Glad to have you in here.
Yeah.
Hey, girl. She hey girls me all the time because she thinks they're in the comments, and it's awesome.
And there is Midnight Jen, always online. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Hey.
There's a frozen fella.
What? No cadence for us this week?
He's like freezing, guys. He went out at, what was it, 9:30, he said, or something, 9 something this morning to do that short. And I was like, he's got good stabilization because I know he was like this trying to film it.
Yeah.
Mike, Terry, Jason, Terry, Tim, Stella. Hi, Stella. And they're lurking.
Yeah, they got it, man. Mississippi got hit good. Louisiana, Texas. Oh, we were watching a video from at dinner. Terry made some corn tortilla enchiladas. Man, it cost her $12 to make a big old pan of enchiladas. And for me and her here, it'll last us almost 3 meals, and for $12. So I'm trying to get her to put everything together and do a video next time she does her enchiladas, and so we can film that and put it up on MT Homes.
Budget meal. I know when Tara, she'll go to do enchiladas or something, and what she'll do is, knowing that if we don't want to eat it for 3 days in a row, because she only knows how to make a big batch, is she'll make, like, roll everything up, and she'll put just what we'll need for dinner that night in the pan with the sauce and all that. The other ones, she just freezes them. And then when she wants to be able to make it the next time, she doesn't have to go through the whole process.
Yeah. She looked like Melania looked like.
I tell you, like, I mean, she was spot on, and that was one thing Tara talked about the whole time, was like, when you look back into royalty days and stuff, right? Hats are a thing. Like,
well, I thought she was at the Kentucky Derby.
Right. She was probably looking to pick up some turds and throw them out of the White House, but they're like, cameras are watching. We're not allowed to do that.
Come on. Her outfit probably would be a month's paycheck for me. You know, so
more than that.
Yeah, she does. I don't think she shops at Walmart.
We went over to some friends, and it was like, we were talking about how, she's probably just going, please, can we get this done? I need out of these heels. And I'm like, yeah, she's ready to, like, get out of the garb and throw on sweatpants. And they're like, come on, you really think she owns sweatpants? And I'm like, well, she has probably like diamond stuff.
She has Gucci sweatpants and tops and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're all like laced with emeralds and stuff. But there's neighbor brother Ricky Smith over at Veterans Landing.
There's Ralph at Webb's Web.
There's another fellow Arkansan there at Ace.
Yep. Listen to yep. And it was cold, man. Been 13. It was 13 the other day. I put up a video on Monday, and yesterday it was 13 degrees when I went out, and then this morning it was 12 degrees.
And it's 11 here right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what it is here. Right. Oh, it's 20 degrees right now here, according to Tulsa, but they don't live down where I live. There is Christina.
Welcome in, Christina. I think it was Rush for sure. Yeah. It was obvious. It was blatant. You don't even. Ray Charles could have seen that one.
Yeah. All right. I am Maruf Verdoza.
I
hope I got that right. And welcome in.
There's Nanny Tam. Glad to see you, sister.
There's Victoria. How you doing, Victoria? Oh, that's right. Midnight Vlog shared us out. The live out. So thank you very much. And if you don't recognize anybody, please check their channel out. Write their name, their channel down, and check them out. Hit that like button.
Oh, I see down here Shiloh's talking about, I loved all the marching bands and the tribute to the fallen firefighter who lost his life at the Trump rally.
Yeah. Wasn't that cool how at the Capital One Arena, where the Washington Capitals play hockey, they donated the facility for all this stuff. His rally before the inauguration day, and then afterwards, everybody went down there, and that's where they had the parade indoors. Yeah, and that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, and allowing everybody to be able to, obviously I think it limited the amount of people that could go because of facility size, but at least those people weren't miserable.
And I do like how they the firefighter Competto. They brought his uniform in. What's his name? Compatore. I'm messing it up. He's the one that took the bullet that missed Trump and hit him dead in the chest. And he was sitting there with his daughters and his wives and stuff. Or something. I don't know where it hit him. I thought they said in the chest, but I know there was one that got shot in the head because it missed him and then hit somebody in the stands behind him. But yeah, that was respect to our first responders, our police, and our firefighters. All right. Hey, Kappa, how are you doing? Welcome in. There's somebody I need to check out. I don't know if we're subscribed to her. We will check you out. You go down here. Hey, Tiffany's here. How you doing, Tiffany?
Glad to see you, Tiffany.
Family life.
I know. Oh, what's Shiloh? I'm still hanging in. Yeah. I knew Robin wasn't gonna just close out. She tells us that all the time. No, you're good. I was just calling her out on it. So yeah, Shiloh, watching it. I told Rob they need a place for the kids when they get restless. You know, like church, where about 20 to 30 minutes they can go play and have cookies and punch or something. Yeah, that was kind of my thought with it was, you know, like all of JD's kids like were real little and stuff, and after that, I'm like, man, they would have been it. Like, I guess it's cool to have them there, but imagine what those kids were thinking. Like, just seeing all these people, they're not even really old enough to understand.
Yeah.
Like the depth of what they were experiencing. So it's like, hey, they're that little. Like, maybe do some photo ops with them, and then hey, you're with a nanny, go to daycare.
Well, yeah, and JD Vance had his little boy and his daughter there. And of course, she didn't want to leave daddy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that's daddy's girl.
Right, right.
Yeah. She's going to go get her. Just.
Oh, wood stove user schedule.
Let's see. All right.
Felix from Denmark.
From Denmark. Hey, welcome in. Glad you're here. What does it say? Hey, Christina. Okay.
Oh, explaining to her what we were talking about with the green room if she was coming up.
And there's Bobby over at Petty Jean River Homestead. Let's see.
Wow, Glenn said they have 7 inches there.
Really?
Wow.
Ooh, Dana made some loaded hearty lasagna soup. All right. I think we said hello to everybody that's in here. We got 43 in here.
We got brother Tony made it in.
Hey, Tony, did your hatching start yet? He's supposed to either start, I think he told us Saturday, 4 days. So it might start tomorrow. He might have some early hatchers. We gave him 4 dozen eggs, and he said he's already glassed them a couple of times and threw out the ones that didn't take. And then he said out of the ones he's got, I can't remember what he said, he's going to have a pretty good hatch rate. Might have more chickens than he can handle.
Right. Well, it's a good thing he's got like 17 chicken areas.
Yeah.
Like, here's this one. Like, I couldn't keep track of them all. Well,
right.
Maybe. What did I just see? Something about Linda Peterson. There are 5 places to go for dances. Also, I don't know what that's referring
Oh,
to.
the balls.
Oh,
They had the commander-in-chief ball. They had Quiznos pizza ball. I don't know. They had all kinds of balls going. He went to 3 of them. How does this old man? How does he even find time to sleep? Because he got
and the
back to
crazy
the
part
White
is,
House,
yeah,
and signing more executive orders. Well, no, he signed all the pardons last night for those
yeah, yeah.
all the
I
people
don't know.
arrested at J6,
I
except
think
for a couple of them.
there was like 8 or 10, I think, that he did yesterday, like when he went back. And
Yeah.
um yeah, we had kind of talked about that because like we had watched everything here at home, and then we went over to some friend's house for kind of like the after party, which we were supposed to be there for the full inauguration and the swearing in and everything. But when I woke up yesterday morning, it was a balmy 4 degrees outside, and my heat lamp bulb in my well house decided it wasn't going to work anymore. And I
Oh,
didn't know that until I
wow.
went to turn water on. And yeah,
Mm.
so
How
nothing
you
broke.
doing, Scotty? Lone Cross is in here.
There's Terry 3.
Yep. Good evening, y'all, she says.
I knew if we
Is it a
scrolled down.
she or no? It's a she. Is it's a Terri?
Yeah.
Everybody's saying hello. Yeah, you just know one of them would fall just deep in your gut.
Right. Oh, we got Troy Sutton.
Hey, Troy.
He made it in. Start physical therapy tomorrow with a VA home health care. Good
Good.
to hear, brother.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I don't know if I talked about it last week. I know you and I did, but I don't remember if I said anything on here. But I actually got VA approved civilian chiropractor.
Yeah, you did tell me.
And today was my second visit because I went last week was my first one. Today was my second one going in, and he's not, because it's like pulling hen's teeth to get chiropractic at all.
Yeah.
Like active duty, retired, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
if you're not, you're gonna fight with it. What's up? There's brother David Moffat. And I've somehow managed to be able to do it twice now because I got it approved in Michigan. And I think that was why I was able to get it here was I made them look back through all the documents, and I'm like, look, I've done all these check boxes that you say that we need to do in order to go get chiropractic. Like, I don't want more medicines. Your physical therapy, occupational therapy, all those things make the condition worse. But if I can go get adjusted once every couple weeks, it keeps everything in a line and I don't have flare-ups.
Yeah.
And this doctor I have now, my primary, I went in there. Of course, I took backup this time, and I brought my wife, and she started telling him, hey, look, blah, blah, and they did their whole nurse doctor conversation. And a few days later, I got a phone call saying, hey, go. But this guy isn't like, he's not one of those like twist you, make everything crack and pop. He's got like machines, and it's really different because I've been to a lot of chiropractors before, and normally it's just manipulation to get you to kind of, and he's like, I want to be able to move when I retire, so I'm using upgraded, and some of that stuff at the time he's doing it, you're like, this is doing nothing. What am I here for?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of a lame massage. What's going on?
Yeah.
But then about an hour after you walk out of the office, you're like, oh, I feel like I just got done with a PT test.
Yeah, I just got beat up.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
So
hey, yeah. Hey, when Trump signs that, my arm would fall off if he's signing 200. They've already prepared 200 executive orders. And the way, if you watch Trump sign his name, holy crap. And he uses felt pens. And I was one of the channels or something like that. a news thing that they was on YouTube, said it's like $20 a pen. The ones that they used, $20 a pen, and he's signing 200 executive orders, and he signs with a new pen each time.
Right.
Well, he forgot.
Well, that was the funny thing.
The first time he forgot. He signed everything at the desk, right? The Resolute desk. He signed them all with one pen. Then he handed out the other ones, and they're like going, "Well, you didn't even sign with this one. What the frick?"
Yeah.
But then when he got to the arena and he started tossing them pens out into the crowd, dude, there were some people getting knocked over.
Wasn't he creating an office of government efficiency that Elon's supposed to be in there? I wonder how Elon's handling that right now. Be like, hey, fraud, waste, and abuse.
Well, the pens were paid with his campaign funds.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He hasn't used all that money up yet that everybody sent him.
There's Melva and Donnie.
Unlike the old VP, that's now they're looking into her because the way she spent her money and stuff like that, it did not go to where they said it was going, and all kinds of crap. I don't know. I mean, listen, if you tell me that not all politicians do stuff, some shady stuff, I just laugh in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. When you hire like your husband to be a personal advisor and you're paying him during your campaign, one of them paid their husband like $200,000. You know what I mean? You guys don't even.
Oh, yeah. You
guys don't even talk at home, and now he's your advisor.
Right.
Oh man.
I'm just trying to read through some of the comments and.
Oh, there
is action.
Melvin, Donnie, how y'all doing? Glad you're in here. Just trying to find new people that we have not said hello to. I'm sorry if I skipped over your comment.
Oh. Yeah, and I made it to the bottom, so I'm seeing that Tamara, David, right there. Yep. Heartland HQ made it in.
All right.
And then
what did Glenn say?
Oh, sorry. Click back.
Angie.
That's the one, Glenn.
Cleared hot last week. Where Andy Stump?
Yeah, I'm going to say Stump.
Interviewed most articulate man I've heard in my life, Brian Hubbard, about the benefits of, I don't even know what that word, ibogaine. What is ibogaine?
Something great for TBIs. We're going to go with that. Okay. I'm not even trying to say what that word is. No idea.
So drinking lots of alcohol is not good for TBI then.
Let's see.
Yeah, Jennifer Ocean said, I'd like to catch one of those $20 pens.
Right. Look up Dr. Ali Alea and get the ring dinger.
Hey, there's Thunderstick. Homestead and Ministry. There's Bowen. He's in here. Welcome in, Bowen. Good to see you.
All right. I wrote it down, Tony.
All right. I'm at the bottom. Okay. So, guys, a lot of things changed. They only had, they were going to set it up outdoors. If you see the pictures and stuff, they have the flags already hung. They moved the bleachers in. They did all that stuff, set up tables and bunch of chairs and all that stuff. And then they said, you know what? It's going to be too damn cold. They made the call. They went inside the Capitol Rotunda and up in that ballroom thing, and they packed it in. They said there's 3,000 people packed in there, and then downstairs in the visitor center, they had that set up. It's like the Hall of Statues. They had all the chairs down there for overflow and everything like that. That was filled. They had one of those gigantic big screens up, and they were watching it down there as it happened upstairs. And watching this, here's my thing. Being a military guy in my brain, and I told Terry this, whoever thought up the seating chart is an idiot. Because if it was a military guy setting up the thing, he would have people setting, okay, here's what we do. You fill to the rear forward, right? No matter what it is. Get to the rear. Don't take these front ones. Get to the rear, and we fill it coming forward so you don't have to step over people. And what did they do? They had Bill and Hillary sitting right up front, and everybody had to maneuver between them, and then go. They're all the way down at the end. Even the justices had to step over everybody. Thought of that seating chart. You know what I mean? If I did it that way, afterwards in the after action review, my commander would be chewing my ass out because those things are noticeable.
Yeah.
Not so much if you're a civilian, you say, oh, yeah, everybody's coming in, blah, blah, blah. But I notice stuff like that. Maybe it's my military sickness. I don't know. But it kind of bothered me, you know?
Well, and you would think, though, because I think that's the thing, is us being veterans and being part of a lot of multi-versions of ceremonies, right?
Dog and
but
pony
every single one of them are very structured. Like, hey, you're doing a dining out, or you're doing a ball, or you're doing like, no matter what it is, there's an order and a policy that you pull that up, and it says, hey, this is how this goes. Yeah. You know, the only thing that you've got, like, crowd management can be kind of altered here and there, but certain individuals and certain guests and all, like, it's pretty cut and dry. And so to see our government, the one that's in charge of all of our military branches, like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I was kind of looking at some of it, and I'm like, this is a soup sandwich. Like, what's going on? Technical difficulties, right? Like, we got to throw the shout out to your home state native right there, right? Carrie pulling it out, going, hey, I don't need music. Let's just sing this. Everybody knows the words.
Dude, I'm telling you. Well, and that was the only real screw up other than Trump didn't have a Bible there. And there's nothing saying you have to have a Bible there. You know what? There's nothing anywhere that says you have to have a Bible there. And I don't even know why they use it in court, because if you're an atheist, you're not going to put your hand on the Bible and swear, and stuff like that. And the military changed it too. You don't have to say, so help me God, and because you tell them before, and they don't mention that in, like, whatever reenlistments and stuff like that. But I noticed that Carrie Underwood, what a pro. You could hear they were going to start the music and something happened.
Yeah.
Right? Something was going to happen.
It wasn't even the right. Yeah, it did. It wasn't even the right stuff. And then they had a whole, like, orchestra band.
Yeah, the military band was in there.
Band was there. Like, why wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, a minor snafu, but to be able to watch, because everyone was just kind of standing there going, what?
Well, she just says, hey, I can do this. So she sang it a cappella.
Yeah.
She did a great job because she has a great voice. She can sing the phone book if she wanted to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But
and have a platinum album from it.
But when they introduced it, they and accompanied by the Washington, D.C. military, whatever the hell their band name is. But it was tape music that she was going to sing with. So I don't know why they said with the military band, because they weren't. If it was the band, they would just say
they would have played and right.
He would have looked at him like, "Get your shit together. We screwed this up already. Let's go." But yeah, and I don't know if band members are like really soldiers. I don't know. I'm sure they had to go to basic training and stuff like that. But if you're a trumpet player, and like that one guy was in there, he's a freaking trumpet player and he's a freaking master sergeant in the band. I'm pretty sure you don't want to send him out on the battlefield and say, we need some more master sergeants to fill some.
Yeah, so they all do. Like, I actually had a guy that I went in. We weren't really buddy program, but we left my RSS. We left for boot camp.
Yeah.
We're in the platoon at the same time. He actually was going to be part of his enlistment was he was guaranteed an audition to apply for the Marine Corps band because you've got it's a tryout deal,
right?
But he had a different primary MOS. I think it was like MP or something. Like they had a primary MOS, and then so they'll send him through, which seemed kind of a waste to me, but they will send him through that training, and then whenever the openings for the band come, yeah, right.
And that could be true, Debbie. That could be true because he's got to be sworn in at noon.
Oh, no.
But I think it was already past noon when they even started. So it's like the military. If you're late 10 minutes or you're late an hour, you're freaking AWOL.
Yeah, it's the late. Yeah.
Either way, you're going to get, 14 and 14 and 1 month's pay taken away from you.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I noticed that, and she does a phenomenal job doing that. But I did the Bible being missed. JD Vance had his wife and all them when they were up there. And let's see. So you've seen all that. They put Biden on but I'm going to tell you something. Trump doesn't give a frick where he's at, and that just showed yesterday where he's at, who he's talking to. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks because his speech was not inaugural. I hate that word. Can't hardly say it. Speech. If you go back and listen to past presidents and stuff, that was like a State of the Union. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't pull no freaking punches. And the dude is sitting right behind him, and all they can do is bite their lip because he's the president and they're unemployed.
Well, he was napping. There was moments Biden
he was napping. Sleepy Joe was.
He was napping, and Kamala, she was not happy about any of the situation. You could just see it with that smugness, and which is fine. I mean, and honestly, I think that's for me. That's one of the things. I'm hoping that what Trump says he's going to do, he does. Yeah. Right. But we hear it from every president. We hear it from every politician when they want voted in office. They're going to tell us, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But can they really do it? At the end of the day, that's what matters is can they really do it? What I like with him, though, is that he's so straightforward. Like he's not trying to dress it up with fancy words. And JD Vance, from what I've seen with some of his interviews and speeches, and especially yesterday, same way. Like average dudes put their pants on one leg at a time like the rest of the world.
Right.
And they're just saying it with real words. They're not trying to sound, and I think that's where I get really turned off with a lot of people in that situation is they're trying to use these big, what I call the $5, the college words, right? All these big, hey, how many letters of the alphabet can I get into this one word and use it? And it's like, why are you gonna that doesn't make you better than me. It doesn't make you better than somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need all these big words. Like, just
Yeah.
be a normal person.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you something that, it's, I mean, he pointed out everything they fucked up. Excuse me, they screwed up. Okay. He pointed it all out and telling you, hey, I'm signing an executive order to a state of emergency on the southern border. Now, when a president signs that, I was looking it up, he is authorized to send the military down to protect the border. Okay, as long if the country's in a state of an emergency, he's commander in chief. Okay,
Yeah.
by the time everybody's going to take him to jail, he's going to tell those commanders, move forward, lean forward in your foxholes. We're protecting the border as these guys build the wall.
And if you paid attention to the way that he signed those bills, there was 3 or 4 different ones, I think, when we were counting them yesterday. It's 3 or 4 different ones that are worded differently so that if somebody tries to be like, well, it didn't say this and it didn't say that, he's like, nope, we're covering all the bases.
Yeah.
Here it is. I'm going to write it with every color of crayon and every word that I can use to let you know, hey, enough's enough.
And I will tell you something, the military, the horizontal, vertical companies throughout all the branches of services, Red Horse Team, CBs, Army engineers, and all that stuff. I will guarantee you dollars to donuts, those battalions are going to be down on the border building wall.
Yeah.
They're capable of doing it. They have all the equipment to do it. And then things they don't have, like they may need, we got the cranes, we got everything to do this, to get that up. And they're going to say, okay, you've got this sector, you got this sector. Everybody start building this damn thing. Now that he's called it a state of emergency, he's commander in chief. He can order them all down there to start working on this thing. You know, I don't think that they're going to move, APCs and tanks and all that stuff on the border. They're going to be in Humvees patrolling the border, catching shit back across the water and stuff like that. Because remember, there's no more catch and release. It's stay in Mexico now. And I know the Mexican president ain't liking that stuff. So if they don't want those people to be there, they're going to shut down their southern border so all these people can't pass through. Because, hey, there's a new sheriff in town and he ain't playing your bullcrap games. Okay? Right. These reindeer games are over with,
And wait, hold on. We talk about things that are big happening, right? And this just popped in my head because it kind of blew my mind because I hadn't seen or heard nothing of this. But it's not going to be the Gulf of Mexico anymore.
No, Gulf of America.
Gulf of America.
Because, well, look, you got to look at this. You got South America, you got Central America, you got North America. I want to know, and I asked Terry this, who come up with the Gulf of Mexico? When did they have a say-so in that? Because everybody has their territorial waters so many nautical miles out. So who named that? You know what I mean?
Right. Oh.
When was Mexico a powerhouse that they have the power to name anything?
Well, and just like he was talking about too, about saying, I don't know what his plan is, but he had mentioned about like with the Panama Canal. Because he's like, we funded it. We paid for all of it. We lost thousands of lives building it. Why don't we have control? Why are we paying to go through something that we paid to build?
Because Carter sold it to them for $1.
Yeah.
Basically, you gave it to them.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know how that is going to. Well, the deal was that we're going to sell these for the $1 and you can't charge us to go through there. But now they're putting a cost on every ship to include naval vessels. And we're paying it. And if you've got stuff coming from the East Coast and you want it to be dropped off on the West Coast, it's even when you pay that, guess who gets charged that? You do at the grocery store or wherever you're buying the goods and stuff. They're going to tack that on because the vessel's not going to eat the cost. You know, business, if you go to business school, you always pass it off to the consumer. You never eat that stuff. And so, but you're charging the naval vessels and all that stuff to cut through there. And that wasn't the original deal. So, and now he said that the Chinese are running it. They're not running it, but they've got ports on both ends, shipping ports on both ends of the Panama Canal. So I don't know. I'm not the guy in charge of all that, and we'll see what happens.
Sergeant Majors, she's giving us info. So the French, something called it the Gulf of Mexico early as 1672.
All right. Well, they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's the French's fault.
Yeah. There you go. Let's see.
Yeah. But no, definitely excited. For a lot of the changes that are coming in. Hoping that his appointments are gonna make it through all the other shenanigans that they have to go through yet and get appointed to where things can start being real. And making, and I think some of the greatest things that he talked about yesterday, with his speeches and what he had talked about was making America great in the aspect that we're going to be the number one force. And we should.
America first. That's the thing. America first.
Yeah. Why, when he was right there, one of the first things that he pulled out, he's like, yeah, that new Green New Deal, whatever that BS is, Paris Accord, we're out. See ya.
Yeah.
Not funding that. He wasn't a fan of that the first time around.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. People like the UN and NATO and all this, they're like going, oh crap, he's back, and now we're going to have to stop sucking off the USA again and have them pay the majority of our bills. And now we're going to have to go back. Hey guys, brush off those old things when he was in there before, and so we can review what we had to do because the U.S. cut us off and took. They're saying, okay, we're only paying this now. You're paying the rest. So yeah, he ain't going to be putting up with that stuff. And I'm going to tell you another thing that I know is going to happen. They're going to isolate Iran again, because as soon as they took away the embargo and all that stuff on Iran, guess what? They started selling oil, and everybody started getting stupid in all these terrorist groups, okay, because they were getting funding again so they could buy bullets and pocket knives and all this other crap. So yeah, and you seen how fast the day before he became president, how fast they started letting hostages go.
Right.
Because he told them, all hell will break loose if you don't start letting them go. I don't want to see freaking bunch of Marines hitting the beach and stuff and start kicking down doors and taking people out and walking down, you know what I mean? Like we did in Beirut and stuff like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't want to see that again.
Yeah. He said in multiple interviews before too that he's been talking for weeks now with some of these other overseas officials and stuff like that, being like, hey, I'm coming in, I voted in, like here's this date, the January 20th, it's official, but hey, shit or get off the pot, but it's gonna happen.
Well, yeah, you don't think it was by accident he went to France for the reopening of Notre Dame, because he likes the Catholics or anything like that. That's not why he went over there. He's basically telling, he went over there and says, "Hey, I'm back," and now the French president, he's going out of office now. He's done. He's not going to run again for another term. So who knows what's going to happen,
Right.
But yeah.
Bobby's saying we're out of the WHO again. Yeah.
Yeah. And
all the countries.
The one thing in his speech that as a veteran was eliminating CRT and DEI out of the military. It's gone. As of 12 o'clock, it was gone.
Yeah.
You know what? And guess what? He fired the commandant of the freaking Coast Guard Academy.
Really?
Fired that lady. Boom, you're gone. And he fired what? I guess General Milley, who was the chairman of the Joint Chief, he had retired and he got a civilian job, government civilian job. He fired him today too.
Nice.
Yeah, he fired him and like 3 other people.
Yeah,
then he had Milley's picture taken off the wall in the hall of the chairmen of the Joint Chiefs. Not only did they take it off the wall, they pulled the little nails out, and they showed it, and they were putting putty and paint over it like it was never there.
Yeah.
That's how much he don't like Milley.
Well, and that's the thing is
crap out of him.
Yeah, and I think that I don't even want to say a lot of us older veterans, right? But a lot of us that served before all this woke agenda crap came in, right? But we talked about it last week or a couple weeks ago when we were talking about that was last week, right? When we talked about Hegseth coming in and being able to, one of his things is getting rid of DEI. And, I hope it works. I really do. And I'm glad that he's getting rid of it because I've been a proponent of that from day one of me stepping on the yellow footprints at MCRD San Diego was, you're telling me that we're all going through the same boot camp. We're doing the thing. And it doesn't matter. We all bleed green. We're all Marines. We're all going to do the same thing. And, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again of the whole DEI stuff, but to be able to pull it and then Trump saying it, getting it out of there, because no matter what you're in, no matter the job, whether it's a military or civilian, but for our hearts, it's into the military who's defending our country. You don't need to be promoted other than based on your merits.
Right.
All of the other things should be irrelevant because they are the protectors of our country, the ones that are allowing us to live our lives the way that we live them. And being able to say the thing, and one of the big things Trump was talking about yesterday was we're going to bring it back where you have your freedoms. Yeah. He was removing the electric car ban or mandate or whatever. He's like, hey, buy whatever kind of dang car you want to buy. Like, why make it a mandate? And, I kind of wondered at first when I heard about that, I was like, well, how's Elon going to handle that? But then I'm like, at the same time, it's not banning. He's not banning either one. He's like, hey, if you want to buy an electric car, buy an electric car. If that suits you and buy
whatever you want.
Or if you want a combustion engine, then buy that. Like, the freedoms that we're supposed to have.
Let me tell you something. When I was working out here on the base before I retired, they delivered 25 electric Lightning trucks, right? 25 of them. And if you look and see how much a Lightning costs, the government bought them. They may have got them cheaper because they bought them in bulk. And they did that to kickstart the electric vehicle because the government's always the testing bed for everything. Okay? Right. So we got 25 of them and they just started buying all these up to line the pockets of their program as they did it. So, and of course, you pay way over what it actually costs to build anything that you buy anywhere.
Right.
And that's one of the things I have a problem with unions. Hey, if you're in a union, you should be loving it. But that's why we pay so much for cars and stuff like that. Because if you look at a union person's salary that goes like this, it doesn't matter if you're just putting on a steering wheel and cranking the bolt down, or you're dropping spark plugs in the motor or whatever. You're making union wages. Okay. It's not like you're digging a ditch or something like that, although they do have union workers that do this, but we're just talking about the auto workers. So they're going to make that union wage no matter what. So that's what you're paying for. So we got these 25 in. Okay, that was great. They brought them in. People were driving them because they were already charged up. But we didn't have anything on post to charge them except for the little extension cord that for your house that was underneath the seat. And it took, to get a full charge, it took almost 24 hours to get a full charge. So you could drive it one day and charge it the next day. So every other day you can drive the freaking truck.
Right.
Then, because we didn't have charging stations. So then they said, hey, the government said, hey, and we didn't have to pay for them. Federal government paid for the vehicles. Then they said, how many charging stations do you want? Right. And they said, well, and we thought we were going to get the ones that look like a gas pump. You've seen those. Right. But no, that's not what they brought in. They brought in these big, gigantic I-beam construction panels that you hit the button. But guess what? It takes electric to power the thing. Okay. Because the electricity that's coming from the mirrors is only going out to the vehicles, but they had to have power to run the machine so it can fold up. Okay. And it can turn. It has a sensor in this big thing. It's a big pedestal thing, and you can park a vehicle on each side of it. And it's bigger than my dining room here when the panels open up, and it moves with the sun with the sensor. So it has to be powered externally to run that system while you're powering up your vehicle. Now, we didn't know this, that if you get a charging station, there's 3 types of charging station: a slow, medium, and quick. Okay. But they said we couldn't have the quick one because they were too expensive. So we got the medium ones, and then they gave us the low ones for vehicles that we don't use as much. Good God, we got those things set and they look horrible. They're in parking lots and stuff like that. Took away parking spaces, which they were short on anyway. And the government paid for all this stuff. And I said, you guys, this is not going to last. I said, because if he gets into office, the first thing he's going to do is he's going to stop this program. And what did he say? The mandate is gone. Now you got all these government vehicles that are electric. And if the program's dead, how are you going to justify buying replacement parts and all this stuff? And they gave us to the vehicles with right now there is no firefighting plan for a lithium battery fire.
Right. Let it burn. That's all they can do. They can't put it out.
The state, we went to the federal government. Hey, what's the plan? The firefighters wanted to know this. You know what I mean? But there's no plan. So once we found out there was no plan, they said, now stop driving them and park them over here, all right, in this motor pool, and don't touch them. So they sat there for the longest time. I mean,
well, and it reminds me, I mean, it's kind of like, and I never paid attention to it till I went to Georgia and I was at the schoolhouse. Yeah. And we ran government vehicles, the vans, getting students around and all this stuff. Well, they all ran on that E88. Now, I remember E88 coming out, and everyone's like, oh, you have a, the problem with the E88 is, it's cheap at the pump, right?
But it goes through your motor like that.
But you get half the mileage.
Yeah.
But we were required in all of our government vehicles that we had to run the E88. And I'm like, why? This is costing us more money to run, and I'm like, what if I take this van? Of course, some of the guys were like, well, I have to drive it 2 hours away and we're not going to have enough fuel. How am I supposed to get back? And I'm like, you stop at the gas station, you put gas in it. And they're like, but it has to be. And I'm like, no, idiot, just put the other stuff in it. Like, it'll actually run better. Like, if you would have put 87 octane in it, you could have made it there and back twice with the same amount of fuel, But it's one of those. It amazed me that the government signed up for those types of programs.
Yeah.
Yet they're going to complain about us individuals if I brought a pen home, or help me if I had a pack of sticky notes, Post-it notes in my pocket to come home. Like, they were trying to, charge military members for bringing office items home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're wasting more money on this BS than we are in a box of pens.
Well, I'm going to tell you, some government workers, that's how they get their kids' school supplies. I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we went through COVID and all that toilet paper was gone, man, they were checking vehicles at the front gate for toilet paper because the guys were stealing it left and right.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't get it at the Walmart, And who would want to wipe your butt with government toilet paper? You know what I mean? That one ply that you gotta wrap your hand and stuff to it's horrible paper. It's the cheapest stuff you can buy because that's what you have to buy, whatever's cheapest. You ain't buying no Charmin. And I mean, there are people that work for the government that bring their own toilet paper to work because that sandpaper garbage, they ain't using it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. What was I going to say? Somebody, they're talking about Canada, Greenland. Guys, that ain't never going to happen.
I think that was stuff.
I'm sorry. I like Trump, but he's talking out his 6 point of contact. That ain't never going to happen. Yeah. But the tariffs that he talked about, the tariffs, and everybody's saying, it's going to be more expensive, blah, 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 blah. Hey, if you want to make all this made in China crap that's being sold, start a business. You don't have to pay the tariffs. You know what I mean? Why haven't we, if we're so dang smart, why hasn't one of the car companies started a subsidiary that makes the chips? Yeah, you can get it cheaper coming in from China. I got that. But not when he puts a 200% tariff on it. I'm pretty sure somebody can start making those in the United States. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is, we've had conversations amongst, friends in our group and stuff about what do we have in today's society? Now, we rely on everything that's made in China, all of our electronics and the chips and all this stuff, right?
Because we're a throwaway nation.
Right. They've made it that way. But when you look back to like World War II, kind of that era where they were converting automobile factories into ammunition depots and tank depots and stuff.
Yeah.
Everything was made here.
Yeah.
Everything that we needed to, build America from the ground up was from here. It wasn't relied on an import. We as a society, as a whole society, have become, hey, great. Oh, this doesn't work anymore. Good. Throw it away. I'm just going to get another one. They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
But what happened to the day that, hey, I made this, and guess what? It's going to go through the next 3 generations. because this part and this component. You know, they built cars, they built farm equipment and tractors. That's why there's still tractors running this day, you know, that were from their original, because they built them to last and said, hey, I need to buy this tractor and it's my grandson's going to run it.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, Minneapolis Moline tractors still around. Even the old propane ones, I got people I know that's still running those things when they were made, you know, whatever many years ago. International harvesters, they're still running, okay, and stuff like that. But like when I was a kid, you either had an RCA TV or a Zenith. RCA and Zenith TVs. And you could go down in town, something's wrong with my TV, and turn it into a guy. He ran his own business. He could fix your TV and yada, yada, yada. Right now, it's even hard to find a computer store other than the Big Blue Geek store to turn your stuff in. And then they just ship it out too. You know what I mean? Because the computers are the same way. Like we've got this one right here, this Apple. But if something happens to it, there's nobody here that can do it. And if it's out of warranty from Best Buy, then you got to pay for all that stuff. And they'll say, oh, well, you know, can't fix it. And they give you all kinds of bull crap, you know, and stuff like that. Because it's all throwaway garbage.
Well, the crazy part is, so I see it that it's in this printer right here. We've had it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
It's actually cheaper for me to just throw this printer away and go buy a brand new one than it is for me to get the ink cartridge replacements.
Yeah.
But I refuse to throw it away, so I keep buying the ink to be able to, you know, run that printer. But that's the way they've made it, this throwaway society of, and honestly, that's where I hope that this is going. It's going back to the, okay, if we're going to build everything here, I'll pay an extra $5, $10 for something if I know it's going to last.
Right.
But, you know, that's the thing. Like, I will pay the money to buy something that I know is going to last my lifetime and maybe a couple lifetimes.
Right.
Like, it's worth the money. It's worth the investment to do that.
Exactly.
But to buy ink for a China-made, like, it's cheaper for me to throw that away and go buy another printer. And I'm like, the once every 5 months I need to buy, you know, print something, and now I have to buy a new printer every 5 months and load it on my computer. And
well, I mean, it's the same way, same thing with like my pew-pews. I don't skimp on when I buy, you know, anything like that. I mean, you go into my safe room and it's Remington. It is, I mean, most of my stuff is Remington, and then I've got what is that, Brownings and stuff like that. I don't skimp on that kind of stuff. You know, I want it to last. I want to, you know, hand it down to my grandkids or whatever the deal is and stuff like that. Because I don't sell those things, you know. And I think about it and I read about it, and then I go out and I buy something like that. And then the comment right here, renaming the Golf. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That is not my humble opinion. That's not the case, because you have so many nautical miles of shoreline around every country that touches the sea. And then after that is international water. So we don't have rights on the sea that would cover the whole Gulf of Mexico anyway. There's no way. That's not why they're renaming it. He's talking more of a pride thing, that it's, hey, who the hell are you to name it the Gulf of Mexico? And maybe it's just to put his stamp on something. Hey, he changed the name of it. Well, the next president can come in and say, hey, you know, we're changing it back to Mexico because we want to make them feel good. That's what it's all about, right? Making other people feel good instead of making America first. Because the American first policy is what he's stressing. everybody that's going through confirmation, they're all saying the same thing. It is the America First policy. Okay. And he's drilling that into all his staffers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Marco Rubio even said it. Marco Rubio, he flew through it. He was the first one confirmed, voted in by the Senate unanimously as our Secretary of State. A guy who comes from his mom and dad were hotel workers, maids and stuff like that at hotels when they came from Cuba. And that's where he came from. He went from there all the way up to the Secretary of State for the United States. Got a lot of smart guy. If you sit through his confirmation hearing, guys, that guy is a smart dude, and he's going to do some stuff for us. He ain't going to play no games. So he even mentioned that. Pam Bondi, same way. She said, they're not going to play no games. And then Trump found out that they were in the White House waiting to leave to go to the ceremony. And Biden went back to his office and pardoned his whole family. Like 15 minutes before they were leaving the White House, he pardoned his entire family.
Yeah.
But who pardoned Biden? He can't pardon himself.
Can't pardon himself.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe he just wants to take the hit. I don't know. But and then listening to all the questions about, no matter who it was, especially the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, they were just hammering all these scenarios about going after the J6 committee and all that kind of stuff. That's all they were worried about. Hey, I know you guys caught us in a lie. So are you going to prosecute all these people? And so he pardoned all those guys too. So just freaking, because they got caught. They got caught.
Oh, there'll be a way. They'll find a way to be able to, and the thing is, though, it's still politics.
Yeah.
So to make it right in our eye, right? Hey, eye for an eye. Hey, you did a crime. You need to pay. With time. That's never going to happen. But there'll be a way, whether it's getting blackballed from the community of government officials, or there'll be something to where, we may not, as the American public, be able to see what happens or how it goes down. But it won't go unjustified. I don't, there's so much corruption. I think that's the scary part, and even Trump was hesitant in the couple times because he's like, hey, he wants to talk about the corrupt government. And he's like, oh, wait a minute, that's us. And he's like, well,
that's us.
It's us right now, but we're going to fix it. And, he kind of had to catch himself, but he's not wrong. Like, him coming in not as a politician, I think is, that big appeal to finally be like, all right, there needs to be checks and balances, and there needs to be a check put on these ones that have been able to just run rampant and do whatever they want, however they want to do it, without any repercussions. Because they're like, well, I'm me. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's great. But there's repercussions for that.
You bought an EV, a Barbie Jeep.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you something. The one thing that caught a lot of people's attention in his speech was designating all the cartels as terrorist organizations. So when you're designated as a terrorist organization, it is a whole new ball game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's just basically a seek and destroy mission, on everybody's heads up on, it's deer season on the border.
Well, yeah, and it was funny because we were talking about that with our group of friends yesterday, and they're like, well, we're not understanding what's going on. And it was one of those, okay, here's the deal. it just became lethal.
Yeah.
Like you can use lethal force now. In all the simplest words, using all these fancy college words that they have to put into bills and policies. Here it is. Now they can use lethal force.
Yeah.
And, you deem somebody a terrorist, guess what? Shoot first, ask questions when you want to.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. So that's something that's, I don't know how that is going to work. I mean, if somebody's got a backpack, because we used to live down 8 miles from the Mexican border when we were at Fort Huachuca, and I'm guessing if you see somebody humping a backpack across the desert, you just get your deer rifle out and shoot them, and it's a justifiable. You just shot a terrorist. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to give the civilians an ROI card, rules of engagement card to say, hey, this is when you can and you can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't have a backpack on, you can't shoot them. But if they got a backpack on, and if you think it looks like a square bale of something, take them out. I don't know what the deal is on that. But yeah, they're going to have to put out a ROI. And what do you mean? And what if you encounter somebody and stuff like that? Because I'm going to tell you something. Those ranchers down there are more than willing to shoot somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's crazy. I got a call one time when I was down there, and one of my programs I ran was a writing stable, and they called me up, and I'm going, and I look at the number, and it says, Stable's sat phone, because they use a sat phone because they go out on trail rides on base behind the mountain and all that stuff. And we got a phone call, and they said, hey, there's a body laying out here. And they use their sat phone and get the GPS for that point. And then I called the MPs and stuff like that and Border Patrol and told them, hey, this GPS, there's a dead body out there. And they went out there, and the pictures I seen of it, he had a backpack, and he was running solo. He was coming up and over the mountain and fell and killed himself. And it was you could see it as a square backpack, and it was just freaking whatever he was carrying. I didn't ask about it, but yeah, they find those guys all the time out in the desert and stuff like that. So because they try to go places where they can't get caught. But if you've ever been on the Mexican border and you see Border Patrol on hilltops, and it looks like a big, not a microwave, but it's like a big square panel, and it's a radar, and one's going this way on another hill, the other one's going this way, and they cover everything all the time. They get a heat signature, then they send out the cavalry to go after these people and stuff like that. So, yeah. But yeah, that's a big thing. And then talking about the ICE teams. ICE teams started going out today and started rounding up people and stuff like that. And I listened to Tom Holman. He says right now they got 700,000 people on their hit list. So just stay out of their way, because I'm guessing they're acting on behalf of the president, and they're going to get these people out of the country. But they were complaining about saying that it's going to cost so many millions and billions of dollars. Well, how much Texas has spent since 2020? $10 billion on this whole mess. New York is paying, all these places is paying all this money. If you add all that money up, it's going to be cheaper to deport them than it was to keep them here. But I get it. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of honest people, and I'm going to say it, a lot of honest people that's trying to get away from the poverty that they are living in. And when someone's giving you money and putting you up and the word gets back, why wouldn't you do it? If you're living in squalor and your country's falling apart and so on and so forth, why wouldn't you? want to come to a place where it's been built up in your head.
Right.
This is like the Hebrews. This is Canaan, the land of milk and honey. And that's what it's being played for. You know what I mean? And then they turned off.
There's
people on the border down there are crying. No. I have an appointment. You can't have an appointment. It's a federal holiday. Everything's closed. App got shut off on Monday. So,
yeah, they have countries like, because I actually had a Marine that was from somewhere in Africa. I can't remember, what part of it was. Kenya. He was from Kenya. And he had come over, and we were like, so how did you end up, like, you're from Kenya, he had broken English, but he could communicate.
Right.
And, so that was pretty surprising. But then I had to think back at boot camp. It was like, hey, the best way to get through boot camp was just shut your mouth and not say a word. So, hey, you don't need to speak the whole time. Just follow the guy in front of you and keep doing what you're told to do. And but they did a lottery in his hometown there, and it was one person a year, or however it worked, was they would fund them to come to America to be able to go to college and do that stuff. And he did. He came here. He started college, but then college wasn't his thing. And he's like, nah, I want to. Well, yeah, he actually had an associate's degree. So he could have went the officer route, but he wanted to stay longer. And he's like, I don't want to do the officer. So he enlisted in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
But they went through the process. I mean, legalization, and got him, as a citizen, and did all these things. And I think that's the biggest misunderstanding for people that are like opposed to Trump and what these policies are coming in, is he's not saying, hey, people can't come in the country. Like, we need new people coming into the country to be able to, keep everything going. But you got to come legally.
Yeah.
Come in and be legal about it. Like, these other countries are going to give incentives, and they're going to, hey, this whole town is going to pool money together to send this guy over to go to school. Great. Like, send them over here as long as they're on a student visa. Like, it's all legal ways of doing it. The problem we have is the countries that are emptying their prisons at the border and going, hey, now we don't have to pay for prisoners, and it's the U.S.'s problem.
Sure.
Not anymore.
I don't know how true that is. I don't think the vice president can pardon anybody.
I don't think so either.
He can't.
He can recommend, but the pardons only come from the president.
It's only a presidential level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If he was acting as the president, the president was in the hospital or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he probably could, because they got to swear you in. And that's happened before. I don't know of anybody, vice president, that's pardoned anybody. And I do know that Ford pardoned Nixon real quick. But they were the same party and everything. And he pardoned him. Because Ford was his vice president anyway. And that's the only way Ford became president. But yeah, hey guys, good. That was good. I mean, nobody wanted to come up and debunk this old codger and Jason and stuff like that.
Right.
But hey, that's just our thoughts on what we saw and what we listened to. We watched. Terry and I were focused on this yesterday. We stopped everything. We watched from the beginning to the end. Mm-hmm. And it was, it's a lot to take in. It was a different feeling, and I understand that what I was seeing, and everybody was getting along, the Democrats and the Republicans and so on and so forth. I know that's all a facade, and it was a job they had to do. And because the one lady, she's from Minnesota, she's a Democrat. She was in charge of the whole thing and stuff like that. But it was a job they did. Everybody came together because it is changing of the guard is a special thing. And I know there was probably millions of Americans that have different views and stuff like that. He's not my president, just like people said Joe Biden wasn't their president. But guess what? He is. Suck it up, you know. But yeah. I think that the thing that is going to hurt a lot of people is the erasing of the woke mentality in America. He signed no men, no, I don't care what you are, is out. He signed the thing for the government only recognizes two genders, male and female. That's a new one. But again, because he signed it, that means nobody in the government or who works for the government or who gets paid by the government or anything like that can say that. That means schools, because school gets all their money from the federal down to the state to the schools and stuff like that. That's what all that means. If you're a university and you get federal funding, you got to knock all that crap off and stuff like that. But to make it law permanently, those have to go through the Congress and then signed into a bill into law. And of course, it's got to go to the Supreme Court and all that stuff to make sure everybody's legal beagles and stuff like that. So that's a big thing. But if you work for the government or you're getting money from the government or whatever, I'm going to tell you something. You can be dismissed. And he's changing the rule in the government hiring process as far as the unions and stuff like that. Your ass can get fired. You've heard the old thing, you can't fire a government employee. You can now. Okay. Yeah. And if you're in the military and you don't want to give in or stop the whole DEI thing and you don't believe in it, look how there's going to be somebody who's going to narc on you and you're going to be gone. Just like when Clinton was in there and he established the don't ask, don't tell policy. And there was a lot of people, I was there during that time period, and there was a lot of leaders and stuff like that said, this is a bunch of book. Guess what? I said, where'd the first sergeant go? Dude, he got his walking papers because he made it publicly known to people that he wasn't buying into this and he ain't playing that game. Guess what? You go and become the RNU NCO, clean up and police calls and all that kind of stuff. Right. Process your paperwork to get the hell out of the military. And that's what they'll do. The other thing that I liked, okay, I know I said that was the last thing, but reinstating all those military members separated over COVID with back pay and promotions. All right. This is a military channel. This is what we talk about. Yes, I agree. Now, but he didn't mention all the government. See, they tried to do it with the government civilians, but the government civilians used the dang courts and stopped it before they could get rid of people. Okay. And they said, oh, put in for this exemption and that because of your religion, because of this or whatever. And then the courts down in Texas said, whoa, federal court down in Texas said, nope. They put a halt on all that. That's why there was no civilians actually fired from it. So there were a lot of civilians that retired and said, I ain't playing this game. Okay. A lot of civilians retired and stuff like that, or went on to another civilian job where they didn't have a mandate like that. So, yeah.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because that was in my mind earlier. And then we were talking about something else and I had squirreled off. But yeah, that was a big key point, was bringing back Because
and
as
they
we
may
know,
not want to come back, but they're
they
given the
might not.
opportunity.
But I think that there's two factors. One, not making the jab mandatory is going to increase retention, but then also getting rid of DEI stuff.
Oh yeah,
ought to promote some retention.
yeah.
And because there's a lot of service members that they did their 40 years or even 8 years, but they still have eligibility. They may be coming back. And I think that with the policies that are getting inflicted now or instituted now should reflect on building back. Like, we need to get back to, and I know I've referred back to it a couple different times, but we need to be back to the World War II America.
Yeah.
We need to be back there where, hey, it's America, America, America. The rest of you, hey, do you, boo. We're going to do us. We're going to go mess up crap and take names while we're doing it. But
well, there's going to be a lot of people whose feelings are going to get hurt. Okay. Because
feelings aren't supposed to be in the military, though. That's the thing. You gave them up when you did the whole initial swear in. Yeah. Your feelings don't matter. Get them out of here.
Yeah, and that's
a part of any of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing with oh shoot, it just slipped my mind. But the military is going to be a better place to be in, because really, come on, the military is a place where you take men and women, okay, and make warriors out of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Turn them into warriors, because the number one job of the military is to kill people. Okay. And there's no place for a timeout card in basic training. Okay. Stress breaks and stuff like that. It needs to get back to shoot, move, and communicate and learn how to kill another human being. Because listen, soldiers pray for peace, but they train for war. Okay. And they don't want to do it. Trust me. If they had their rather say, hey, let's take a vote. Who wants to go and fight a war or stay back here in garrison? Okay. There's a few crazies. Yeah. There's a few crazies. I'm not going to deny that. But the majority of people can say, hey, I'm perfectly fine here in garrison with my family, going training every day and all that kind of stuff. But if you gave me a rather, but if the unit goes, guess what? You're going with your battle buddies. Okay. Yeah. You see all these guys that got wounded and they're so depressed. And one of the number one things that they're depressed about is that they can't be with their battle buddies. They want to go back to their unit. And so the military they changed the policy to say, hey, you may be missing a leg, or an arm, but there's jobs in the military that you can do. You know what I mean? There's jobs you can do. You may not be able to go back into combat or something like that, but there are jobs you can do, okay, and positions you can fill, and they can still get their money's worth out of you. You know what I mean? You don't need to have,
because there's
arms to be a lawyer in the military.
Yeah, there's always training commands. There's administrative staff. There's all these things. Like we actually had a Marine. I remember that he had went in and his tank got blown up and he lost an eye. He lost one eye. Okay, get it, right? He ended up getting some really cool fake eyes to put in there in the meantime.
Do you guys mess with him? Boom, hey.
No, this dude was a mammoth of a man. You didn't mess with Gunny. Like, we would ask him politely, Gunny, can you put a cooler eye in? And he'd get in his little bag.
Like an American flag one?
He had a flag. He had a tank reticle. He had like a dozen of them that he'd carry in this
really?
house. Oh, yeah. But, when you talk about a Marine's Marine, this was Gunny. He was there.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And he fought, like to stay in. He's like, send me to the schoolhouse. Let me teach. Like, okay, I'm non-deployable. I can't go to combat. But why take a Marine that is perfectly healthy and can go to combat away from the schoolhouse? I can go there. And this was a pretty big deal back then. Was like, if you have somebody that got injured over there, and I think that's where there still needs to be some changes in the military of how things are worked, because the biggest detriment to anybody that's serving is getting that title of non-deployable.
Right.
When you get that tag of non-deployable, your career's over. You're done. But it's crazy, because here I go as a perfectly able-bodied Marine, and I go to the schoolhouse because I want to instruct and teach new Marines coming in, but I'm non-deployable just because of my status. Like, I can't deploy because now I'm an instructor. Right. Why not take those Marines that were injured, or soldiers, corpsmen, like, take those injured military members. They gave parts of their body, if not their mind, their soul, everything, to be in that branch of service. Let them keep serving.
Sure.
In an administrative form, which is going to be better for them than, hey, guess what? Oh, we're sorry. Here's a fat check. We'll give you a fancy arm, but you got the boot.
Right.
And then, I mean, luckily there's a lot of veterans organizations that some of them get part of, but others, they become one of the 22.
Yeah.
And I think that if the government was smart and they looked at what they had, and they go back to these wounded warriors and start putting them back in active status, where you always need admin, you always need cooks, you always need, teachers. You need those jobs that, they may suck to the guy that was infantry, but is being an instructor worse than not being in it at all? Like, what's your choice? Like, I guarantee if you gave those veterans a choice, hey, you can stay in, but you can only be an instructor, or just get out and go live your life, they'd be like, if it allows me to stay in, I'm going to stay in.
Yeah. And you know what? And one thing I will say is I've been around a lot of military people from different countries, and nobody takes care of their veterans the way the United States does.
Right.
There's some countries you're a freaking peasant on the street. You're gone, and you get nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no retirement plan. You can't fall back on nothing, and I will say that, I mean, a lot of people complain. They complain about our government. They complain about, they're not taking care of me and they're not doing this. You haven't been to other countries, and you're talking smack about your country. Okay. And it's this and it's that. If you haven't been to another country and seen how bad it could get, or that it is in those countries, you're a freaking idiot. Okay. I'm sorry. You just haven't not seen, been in other countries where you can go into every city and you know exactly what sector a certain people are. I've been in Germany. There's the Russian area of the town. There's the Turkish part of town. There's this, and they won't sell you a place in the German areas. You know what I mean? Or in France, or in, it just doesn't happen. But their citizens come first. Over in Korea, you touch a Korean as an American, you get into a bar fight. First of all, they're locking you up. The next move is depending on the severity of the crime, they're gonna charge you. And if the charge on the U.S. side is worse than what they could give you, they'll hand you over, but you're leaving that country. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Germany, you can get in a bar fight. I've been in many bar fights in Germany. over my 16 years in that country, and nobody kicked me out. Got arrested, but didn't get thrown out of the country. But you go to these other countries and they take care of their citizens, like, with kid gloves and stuff like that. Or you go into an Asian country and you do something stupid, like we've seen years ago. I mean, not years ago. You go in the freaking middle of the street and they'll cane your ass and they'll beat you. They'll beat you stupid. And you think, well, I'm an American. I don't care. I'll hit you harder now.
Yeah, right.
Go to Singapore and all these countries, and they don't care. You can yell, "I'm American" all you want. They don't care. They're going to mess you up. Then they'll turn you over to your consulate. Unless it wasn't a jailable offense. So yeah, it's just we talk crap to our cops. Go to other countries and see what gets dished out. Okay?
Yeah.
You can say that Americans are too free, and you can say that because it's true if you visited other countries. In other countries, you can't talk to their cops like that. You think you're going to throw a bottle and they're not going to take you out with rubber bullets and then beat the crap out of you? No. They're going to handle their business. And those are the kinds of things, this America First policy, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have their feelings hurt. But guess what? Your woke agenda's gone unless you go to a non-government funded school, But if it's a state school, all that stuff's out. And just get ready. A lot of people are going to be crying and whining. And the good thing about this time with Trump is you didn't have to watch all those video of these psychopath people laying in the street screaming, grown people screaming, no, and pulling their hair and doing all this crazy crap.
Right.
That's what I enjoy about this one. You didn't see all that stuff, because the crazies were ready to come out. I guarantee you that. It was just too cold to be crazy. You know what I mean?
Like, whatever works. We'll take the cold if it keeps the crazy in.
Hey, guys, I'm glad you guys came in here. I know we went a little bit long again, but hey, we don't care.
Not mad about
glad
it.
You stuck it out with us. Hey, remember, be kind to one another. Help somebody in need, and always think of that. Guys, we love you. God bless you guys. Keep warm out there.
Wait, hold on.
Tank of gas in your car.
We've got to have we need to throw the shout out, brother. I know we didn't talk about it all night, right at the end. So, guys, you notice there's somebody not in the chat tonight. Very missed, but our sister Lila is no longer with us. We think about her daily and want you all to do that and put your thoughts and prayers out with her family, because she was a huge supporter, a veteran, and
U.S. Navy veteran. Yeah, we called her Cookie. We gave her the name Cookie because she was a cook in the U.S. Navy.
Yeah,
and I just forgot about it because Terry slipped me this. We'd like to do a moment of silence for Miss Lila Newton. We absolutely love her, and we're gonna miss her. So if you would just. Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.
I hope she's up in heaven, giving, telling God what he's doing wrong. Yeah.
She's got him on his toes, I guarantee.
Yeah, know that. Guys, we love you. Hey, we'll see you next week, guys. All right.
Bye now.
See ya.